Okay guys, so what I'm going to go through in this video is I'm just going to go through in section B. You have there, section B, it says there compulsory. The thing about section B, so if you look there, there's always a question. This is guaranteed to come up. It's to do with the design. So design using a diagrams, a tipping transport box for the rear of the model. Your design must include a method to secure the box until tipping is required. So that's talking about, so how do you secure the box, stop it from tipping? Okay, so stop it from tipping up when we don't want it to. Again, this is the other mock that we had. Design using a diagram, a tipping transport box for the model vintage tractor. Describe how the box is secured to the model. So this is guaranteed to come up 100%. This question here. So again, both about designing it. Again, you're as well. Again, in this one, again, it's compulsory. Answer any 5 questions straight away. There's one. There's always going to be something on safety and something to do with a high quality finish, and then to do with the pieces that we've made. Okay guys, so I went to make another video earlier and it didn't work for me, but this is just sort of, again, that's the first part. Oh my god, you can't even see, you can see very little of it. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do it a bit. I'm gonna go through this how to do this question and do their tipping box. So again, the first thing it's asking us to do is design a transport box. Okay, so we're gonna design the transport box now. Once I get a piece of paper. Brilliant. So marker, there we go. So the transport box. So again, don't go and do something like this very small. Make it nice and clear. So there's the top. So you need to make something nice and clear. So again, I'm going to do something that looks like this. Oh, Jesus. Oh, flip it. Sorry again. I was going ahead of myself. I was doing the second part as opposed to the first part. So I'm just going to do something like this. Again, this is the one that most of us have used. Makes absolutely no odds what we do. What when you use, you can make your own design if you want to. Add a bit of depth again, show this it isn't a solid piece. Oh jeez. Okay, so you get the idea, guys. There is a transport box, very badly drawn, but you get the idea. Okay, straight away, that is not going to get you any. That's not going to get you the full marks. It's only going to probably get you 1 mark. Okay, this is worth 4 marks, this question. So, what we need to do is we need to label it. What is it made out of? Okay, so, first thing I'm going to do is just, again, we need to label it. It's made out of aluminium. Don't forget to just jot down why, because it is light. No rust also, it does not rust. Straight away, it's aluminium. Again, we're going in the right direction. We need to add a few other things. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to add, talk about, so again, how is it all bolted together? So we have holes here. So again, these are all diameter 3.5s. Sorry, put it there. So again, guys, you want to talk about this in as much detail as possible. As much things as you can think of. So I'm just going to label, then I'm going to say sides bolted on. So they're bolted on, or you can say the pop rivet on. Again, we're going to try and stay away from pop rivets though. The last thing, again, you could talk about, you could even mention that there's 90-degree bends. They don't expect you to remember the dimensions of it, guys, for the exam. And the last thing you could do is then this piece here, you could draw before it was bent, something like, and you could sort of say, okay, this is all the one piece. And then 4 by diameter 3.5. Okay, so straight away there, that is my... Really, there's nothing else that we can add to that. So I'd say we have to get full marks for that, because there's nothing... What else could we add to it? Very, very little. Okay, so I've done as much detail. Again, that is the first part to that question. That's the first, that question there. No, wrong one. Again, this question is better because it sort of breaks it up. Again, so design, again, I've designed a transport box. Problem with this one, guys, is we cannot see what in the name of God is going on here. If you looked in at X there, what is going on behind it? So that's our next step. What we need to do is we need to draw the lock, the mechanism, or how it's held onto the piece. Again, I've done this before, but I'm going to go through it again. Okay, so I've already sort of half started it here. No, I didn't. I'll get another sheet of paper. Okay, so now we need to make it look like we're viewing from the other side. Side of shadows. Nice and big, and nice big clear drawings. I can't make them that big and clear because they're going to go off the screen. And just make it look like the transfer box somehow. Okay, ignore that line there, otherwise it looks quite good. Okay, so I'm going to just go with the main locking mechanism for that most of us went with, which is sort of like the laid piece that looks something like this. Hole in it. And then remember we milled that off. Okay, so again, we could label that saying it was milled and then it was laid. Again, those who are pushing for full marks. So again, just draw it as neatly as you can. Just looks like a D, the letter D. And there we go. Again, obviously I'd like to leave that line out of there. Okay, so there's the swivel mechanism, the pivot mechanism on it. So there's the pivot. The pivot on the transfer box itself. The next thing I want to draw is the thing that attaches to the tractor. So I'm going to have a go at drawing the rear of the tractor. So where is this drawing? Here we go. I'm going to have a go at drawing that. So just there where a circle, see that just a little bit of that there. Okay. So just anything at all just to show. So again, it's going to look something like this. They don't need to be attached. I'm just going to draw that much for now. Again, the piece looks. Remember, if you're looking at the back of the piece, it looks something like this. And you have two little blocks there that you bolt on again. Okay, so I'm going to just again trying to draw it as neat. Okay, I'm actually just going to draw these first because what'll happen is I'll mess the whole lot up. And then I want to draw the curve there. Again, once the drawing shows the design intent, they're not going to mark you. They're not marking you on your drawing. They're marking you on your design. Again, if you're not showing it clearly though, then they can deduct your marks. So this is the rear of the tractor. I'm going to just label that. Oh geez, I need to just keep an eye on my thing. That's the rear of the tractor. Okay. So a few things we need to label here now. I need to label and show that this distance here is the exact same as this distance here. Two of them are the exact same, show that they link in together. Okay, and then so you have then we said these are all diameter 3.5. Again, same thing, diameter 3.5, and then we have a diameter 3 bar. Bar for the, again, that's going to go straight through here and allow it to pivot. Again, at the minute, that will pivot away. There's no issues there. That'll pivot away, but the problem is it'll pivot when we don't want it to. There's the full drawing there. Again, for this question here, we have full marks because we've shown how it's secured to the model. We've shown a transfer box. That is full marks right there. Very little that we can, there's no way that they can deduct marks there because there's nothing else to add. And that's it. So again, pivot is the key word there. The last part that they're looking for is they're looking for a locking mechanism for this. Again, anyone that has seen an older transport box, the way that they lock is there's a little bit of a steel bar on this. I'll draw it nice and big so we can understand it in a few minutes. There's a piece of flat plate welded onto it that's sticking up like that, and then you have a locking mechanism that looks something like this. And that's hinged. Oh sugar, something like that, and that's hinged there. Okay. And what happens is this will lock that piece there will fit in there, and it holds it from tipping. And when you want it to tip, you pull this up. Used to be literally a piece of rope. You pull it up, and the transfer box would just drop. Okay. So I'm just going to draw that in much more detail now, and just to give you an idea. Again, that's just to do with the. Funny enough, one of the mock papers didn't even ask for it, how is it secured to the model, but for this, do not give them a chance, don't give them a reason to not give you the marks. Okay, so there's a drawing that I've done from before. I'm just going to go through it again. So what you have is, actually, you have your flat bar that's welded to the transfer box. You have your pivot, again, it looks something like that. When this part, again, when you tip up the transfer box, there's that thing there is going to be that. when you tip up the transfer box, it's going to dumping out whatever's in it. And once you lower down the lift, the transfer box is going to come up to where it was. And this piece here, because there's a curve on it, is going to lift. It's going to lift because it's hinged as well. It's hinged as well, so it's going to lift up. And once the transfer box comes back far enough, that's going to fall in, and that's going to click on. Okay, and that's the locking mechanism. So again, if they wanted something like that, you need to draw something. If they're looking for a locking mechanism, you need to draw something like that. And again, there used to be a piece of rope there going up to the cab of the tractor. You'd pull that, and that would release this, and that would give you that means, and then off you go. You could dump away. But again, power boxes are the way at the minute, but again, the older tractors, you mightn't have hydraulics on them. Again, the transfer box will be good enough, because again, but they wouldn't be as big. Okay, again, a lot more labor intensive. Okay, guys, so that's quite guaranteed to come up. 100% coming up this question. That was question 1, section B. That one is E. So it's 100% coming up in the junior cert. Okay, 100% coming up in the junior cert.